What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony, Lori, and Mike, and we are discussing the fourth episode of Wheel of Time, in which Michael is finally on board, as we told him he would be.
Yeah, it sucked me in. It finally got me. Like, I'm fine. I think the one saving grace of this thing is probably Nynaeve. Like I'm 100% like she is my spirit animal now. I'm like, okay, I want to see what happens with her, like above everybody else. Like, screw all the other Aes Sedai. I can give a fuck about any of them. I'm all about her. I'm like, I want to see what's up with her because she is like really interesting to me. Like her whole character arc, like almost being killed, like fighting her way back and like doing all this other stuff. And but something between her and what's his name? I'm
Lan.
like, okay, her and Lan.
I told you I shipped them.
Yeah, I ship them too. I'm like she really got me back into it. I'm mad at what's her name for it seemed because like when like I know we're gonna get to it, but when it seems like she sabotaged them keeping what's his name under control, keeping the dragon under control.
Leandrin.
Leandrin or
not Leandrin.
Moraine.
I'm talking about Moraine.
Like, you think Moraine sabotaged it?
Because she came back afterwards and tried to talk to him, like,
right.
You know, okay.
I thought that too. I was like, she was so calm walking in there. She just walked in there like,
right.
They'll be here in a few minutes. They'll be here soon, so we only have a few minutes to talk. I was like, wait, what?
No, she didn't sabotage it.
Doing?
All I'm sure.
See, I think the thing is, even though it seemed shady, I kind of saw what she was doing, because she wants to be the one, because she really believes that one of the kids is the last dragon, the last dragon, whatever. Last dragon. That's what I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him the last dragon. You know, the true champion. Oh. You know? But it's like she really believes it, so she finally got a chance to get him alone, because I think that's what she wanted to do when she first saw him. She was like, let me get alone with him and talk to him. I can solve this real quick, like, you know, because she saw in the first episode, she saw when they captured the other guy and took the powers from him. She looked down and she was like, yeah, that's not him. They got the wrong guy. Whatever. So we need to keep looking. So she seems to be the one that can really sense who is going to be the last dragon. So I think that's what she really needed to do. So I kind of get it, but that shit seems shady as fuck.
I don't know, because she didn't sense Nynaeve.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Nynaeve. I'm sorry, Nynaeve. Thank you.
Don't let Leandrin mess y'all up. She said your name wrong.
Nynaeve. Laura, you were trying to say something. It's hard because we can't see your face.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I think that if you had seen Moraine when she walked in there, that you would think that something was going on that was a little dark friend-ish. But it wasn't. I think that she's so determined to prove that she's right, because like Anthony said, she's part of the quote-unquote CIA of the Aes Sedai, that she just really wanted to get in there and get some answers, because, you know, from jump, you could see that the different Aes Sedai really don't get along with each other, but because they have a common goal, they have to basically sort of live with each other, right? So
I don't know if I would say the rest of the Aes Sedai can't get along. I think it's just the Reds.
Oh, I'll give you that.
They gave off that, because I think everybody else, it looks like everybody else maybe can't get along with Moraine, or is kind of distant with Moraine, but she we saw the blues and we saw the greens there, and they seem to get along okay with each other. At least the warders get along great with each other. You know, it's like a brotherhood with them. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's supposed to be too many women in charge. You know, supposedly they say powerful women can't get along, and maybe that's what they're trying to portray or something. But
were there blues there?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're blues, greens, yellows.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Let me see.
Were there blue?
No, I think Moraine was the only blue. I meant the green.
Oh, they had okay, I'm thinking green here.
It was greens and reds.
Basically greens and reds. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay, what I meant.
And I was trying to figure out where I'd seen what's his name before? Logain. Like, I was trying to figure out, because he looks so familiar. I was like, oh shit, that's the dude. He was in He's in Money Heist. It's on Netflix. It's like he's the professor, like the one that runs the crew. And like Money Heist is dope as shit. It's like I recommend it to anybody. But
he looks like a cross between Tim Curry and Sirius Black.
I was gonna say he looks like Tim Curry. Yeah, you're right.
He's like a really young Tim Curry. He really does. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I like him as a character actor.
The thing about the Blues, none of the other Aes Sedai trust the Blues because the Blues don't tell them anything. Like they don't share information. They are in fact the CIA of they're the secret agents, the spies. They don't. And the thing is,
for good reason.
It is, and Moraine knows. The thing about this world, the prophecies are not as in other shows and other fantasy works. Prophecies can be a little iffy, a little shaky, and they're not real. The prophecies in the Wheel of Time are very, very specific, and they're never wrong. So, and they can't be really misinterpreted. You can apply them and try to make them fit, but if you don't check off all the things in the prophecy, then you're not the Dragon Reborn. Okay. I mean, there are other prophecies around. The thing is, Moraine knows what she's looking for, what they should be looking for, and Logain is not it.
Yeah.
And she knew that.
Even though Logain's powerful as fuck, like he.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. So where does he get that power from if he's not the Dragon Reborn? Because like we literally see almost physical manifestations of past dragons kind of like whispering in his ear. No. That's not what that was?
That was the madness.
Oh, okay.
That was the madness.
So it was the madness. Voices. It wasn't the actual people. Okay.
No.
Because like if you watch the TV with closed captions like my old ass does, they actually had names for the people that were speaking to him. So that's why I thought it actually was the people in the past dragons or whatever.
It could be it. I don't remember the names, or I have to look at it again. But no, that's the madness. That's just like the first guy we saw who was talking to someone, and that person was not there.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's the madness.
Okay. I was a little confused because I was like, okay, and comparing with the first guy that we saw who was talking to someone, these were two shadow figures. So that's why I thought, okay, so maybe he is, but now that I think about it, I think that was to kind of throw us off to make us think, oh, that's the fifth person, maybe. But then, of course, we found out at the end of the episode that no, that was not the fifth person at all. Someone else had that distinction, and he could be the fifth person.
He could be the fifth.
One of the names is Alusha.
Yeah,
he's not the fifth.
Like, I have no idea.
Nynaeve. When I tell you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. You asked how is he so powerful and not be the Dragon Reborn?
Right.
Remember, let's recall that I was trying to say that we have the last battle is approaching, and the things that the Aes Sedai have done over the last 3,000 years has weakened the power of people who have the ability to use the one power.
Okay.
So the will has spun out people to kind of work this thing out. So we're going to need some more powerful users of the one power, because we're going to get some dark friends. We're going to get some Forsaken who are way off the charts on the power scale.
We haven't seen any Forsaken yet.
We haven't seen.
Okay.
We've seen them, but we don't know they're Forsaken.
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay.
But we haven't seen the Forsaken yet. So their power level is off the charts because remember, they're Aes Sedai from 3,000 years ago.
Okay.
So we've got to have people on the light side who can go toe to toe against these people.
Okay.
So we're going to get some pretty powerful users on this side.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you, but how they rank, but Robert Jordan did put out the actual power ranking of the characters. So if you search, it's an easy Google search. You can find out.
That's like saying, Lori, here's this carrot and this stick. Why don't you go do this when you have 10 extra minutes? Don't tempt me, because I will.
Because her 10 extra minutes is going to turn into an hour because she's going to get so sucked in.
Pretty much. Yep. Pretty much.
Or it's like, or we could just say, Lori, tell us about the second book of Dune and what's going to happen.
Yes, yeah, deeply detailed. Yes,
but yeah. I will say this, Logain. Yeah, you think Nynaeve is powerful. Logain is not shabby himself.
I mean, I saw that he wasn't shabby, but
he's not shabby
I mean,
himself.
he even said, he was like, yeah, okay, so what she just told me, what Moraine just told me, yeah, that's it right there. Like, he was even in awe of her.
Yeah.
And it was just so, because we had no inkling of it. At least, we weren't supposed to have any inkling of it. Obviously, there was something special about her.
Yeah. But let me tell you about
that you mentioned.
But let me tell you about Logain, though. Mm-hmm. Logain was sitting there playing possum because he was waiting for his army. He could have gotten out of there. They thought two of them would be able to hold him. He was just like, yeah, whatever, I'll wait.
He was only using. They said he was only using half his power.
Yeah. See, I definitely got that impression too, that he literally was just sitting there,
Yeah, and we got confirmation that they cannot sense the one power in men.
Right.
She says it, but when they were shielding him, they could feel him, pushing against it and whatnot. But yeah, Nynaeve is not shabby, but neither is Logain. So he was just surprised because he hasn't come across anyone as powerful as him.
But here's the thing. So he's powerful, but he's had practice. Nynaeve hasn't. Like, that was full, raw power, unexpected, and it literally just came out of nowhere. But it was enough. She healed everybody in that cave.
No, Hanako. She brought everyone back to life. They were
No, she did. They weren't dead. They were on the cusp of death.
Lan was damn near
dead.
Lan was dead. Lan almost bled out.
Now I'm not gonna argue with that. She didn't bring the green sister back. She was dead. But Lan was on the ropes.
But
as soon as I saw Karine, I was like, oh, she's gonna die, isn't she? It's like,
yeah.
Fuck.
I think they messed up with Lan. I think they used too much blood on his thing for real, because
that was a lot of blood.
That was a lot of blood. And then for him to get up like that, and you can't lose like 2 pints of blood and be like, hey, I'm good. No.
I mean,
no matter how much magic you have, you got to lay down for a second after that. You got to chill. Like, hold on.
Just hold on. He was last one to get up though.
That was supposed to also indicate how powerful Nynaeve was, because all of them got up, and yes, Lan was the closest to death, if not dead. I mean,
he wasn't dead, but yeah.
Well, this is why I think, because again, we know that things happen differently book to screen. I don't know if that that scene happened in the book, but maybe that was because I feel like he had just died, and that was that final no when all hell broke loose. But I think because it was like literally a recent, like he had just died, she had enough power, or the power brought her back. Karine had already been dead for a few minutes, before they came into the cave. So there really wasn't anything they could do for her. Like we
Yeah,
literally
well,
saw her die.
I agree with you, and I will say that on the internet that fans of the show and book readers, they've gone back and forth about whether or not Lan had died or not. I'm just in the camp that I'm going to believe that it doesn't really, once you're dead, you're dead. And the one power, because the one power being able to bring people back, no matter how quickly they died, would just be too much.
Okay.
And
that's a lot.
And I think that would break that would break the magic system.
Okay.
Plus, to say that she has that power the first time she actually accesses it is a bit much too. It's like, okay, she brought someone back to life the first time she actually fully accessed her power. It's like, that's sloppy writing. It's like,
well, you know, she just saw the person that she wasn't admitting that she was kind of into just die in front of her. So, you know, like, she's probably like, hold up, I ain't even like, we're just not getting on the same no.
Yeah, I would like to believe that he was about to draw his last breath and she saved him.
I can go with that. That seems understandable.
One of the things they really haven't touched on with her is healing is something that she has been doing. I can talk about it now because we're at the point where she's shown her powers, where even as she was growing up, she was learning to be a healer, learning to be a wisdom. She would, do the poultices and the bandages, but she would still be using the one power to actually heal people.
But she didn't know she was using the one power.
At first, she didn't know, but as she got older, she realized what she was doing. So
which would explain her why she's so angry whenever they throw it in her face about the one power and the Aes Sedai and being a novice, because she already knows that she has that power.
Yeah. So for most of her life, she's been using the one power to heal people.
Okay.
So, and I think they intentionally didn't put that in the show because it would make this moment so much more impactful.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like if we had an inkling that she knew she had the one power, like you said, it would have kind of taken away that oh shit moment. But I think
no, she knew. We knew she knew because when they talk about listening to the wind and being able to predict the weather or feel what's going on, that's them using the one power. That's how she knew Egwene had it as well.
Okay. I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. Remember, I was saying, the thing about, they call them wilders, people that aren't trained, that as they learn that they have the one power, they either burn themselves out or they get sick and die because they don't have anyone teaching them. But in the Two Rivers, in that area, when you show a affinity for stuff like that, they bring you in and they teach you, about, especially the scene about jumping into the water. That's literally the way they teach them how to control the one power.
Okay.
Like, you just flow with it. You don't fight it.
Okay.
Because the harder you fight against it, the worse it is for you.
Okay.
This is like in Harry Potter world with the what is that when they don't use their powers and they try to hide it?
The Obscurus.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay.
But here, in the Two Rivers and in some other places, they have ways of having them, deal with it and control it and go with it, and especially in the Two Rivers. And that's why Nynaeve is still around, Egwene, because they have an idea of how they should be able to use it.
Okay. Let's talk about the Aes Sedai, the sisters that we were able to see in this episode. Like I said, we had a green Aes Sedai, and I can't think of her name, and when I'm going to IMDb to pull up the actors, the cast for this episode, they only list 12. So like most of the other people they haven't listed, but the green sister and Moraine seem to be friends, maybe Alana. Not close friends. Yes, Alana. Yes, Alana. Thank you. they seem to be friends. You know, she's the only other person I've seen Moraine seem to have a genuine liking to, other than Lan, in this episode, and she's funny. You know, I like Alana, but she is a green Aes Sedai. She's very powerful, and the green sisters are the ones that are the protectors, right?
The battle Aja.
Battle Aja. She was battle Ajing, okay? I don't know if that's a word, but she was woo. They were when Logain's army came to rescue him and they started fighting in the woods, just seeing the other sisters do what they do, that was a great moment, because it's like, okay, so we know Moraine and we've seen what Moraine can do, but it's nice to see some of the other people kind of get a chance to shine. You get to see some of the other warders. I like all the warders. I will say that they're funny.
They're fun.
They are, you know, I like the fact that they didn't treat Nynaeve. They didn't treat her different. They didn't treat her special. They treated her like she was just one of them, you know, and that's another thing that I like about the show. We've talked about that before, where it's like people who are in situations where they're different, they're not treated as if they're different. Like in all of our shows, you know, especially over here in the West and in you know, American shows, you know, when there's a character who is different, whether that character is a different race, whether that character is a different gender or non-binary, or if that character is gay or whatever, it's like there's always some kind of reference made to it. Sometimes a big deal is made out of it, sometimes it's not. But in this show, there's been like no, it's just very, I don't know what the word I want to use. We've seen the diversity from the beginning of the show, and then we see it a little bit more here as well, because you get to see Nynaeve kind of bond with this brotherhood of warders, because the warders are all men. She doesn't really have anyone there that she can talk to and relate to, except for the Aes Sedai. And she really doesn't care for them. She doesn't care for their machinations. She doesn't care for the way they are with people. So she's just sitting around the fire, hanging around with the guys, and it was not a big deal. And then, of course, you know, you had the two warders that were Alana's warders, and they were very clearly together, and then also with her. But again, Nynaeve kind of questioned it because that was not something she was used to, but it wasn't really like a big deal. And I like that, because it's just a part of the story. It's part of life. Okay. That's what we do.
That's just how it is.
That's just how it is. Yeah. And I like it because, you know, and we bring this up with other shows. We bring it up because we kind of have to, because of the way shows are written, because of the way things are cast. But like I said, this cast is very
interesting and diverse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it all meshes together though. It's like they all like they do a really good job of playing off of each other. Like even Nynaeve and Lan are just like both of them are just, they have such good chemistry. It's crazy. Like,
and a note on Alana and Moraine, they were I don't know if maybe they were novices at the same time, but I know they were accepted at the same time. So they were, you know, they spent a lot of time together in the White Tower.
Yeah,
so they're really good friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say they seem like they're really good friends. Moraine and Karenni, not so much, but I feel like Karenni had like maybe a silent, maybe not like, but I think she respects Moraine.
She might respect her, but Karenni was the captain general of the Green Aja. So she's the captain general is about is probably the highest position you can have.
Okay.
With an exception, because we haven't seen the White Tower yet.
Okay.
But I'll discuss it more then. But Captain General is she's on a different leadership
Hierarchy?
level.
Okay.
Yeah, than Moraine is.
Okay. Now that Leandrin, don't like her. I do not like her. I don't know what it is about those type of people in red, and I'm thinking cursed, and she's giving me the same vibes.
It's the same character archetype.
Yeah.
It's the same character archetype.
But oh my gosh, she's just something about her character just irks me. Like even from the first time we saw her, when she was confronting, the guy who was they were chasing. I don't know, and she reminds me of another character, and I just can't think of it right now. But she bothers me. She's so smug and she's so underhanded, because they're like, Karenni is clearly telling her, we cannot just gentle this guy without a trial. We have to take him back to the tower. And given what you said, Karenni is up there and Leandrin is down here. And she's still going around like, yeah, I know what Karenni said, but let me tell y'all what we're going to do. And then when Karenni confronts her about it, she says, so you've talked to pretty much everyone. Were you going to come and talk to me? And
because she knew she wasn't going to convince her. She knew she wasn't going to be able to convince her to do it. That's why she saved her for last. So let me get everybody on my side first, and then go to the boss lady and see what she says. Boss is like, man, get out of here with that BS. Even Nynaeve, she knows, because even after she had that relatively cordial conversation, as soon as she steps away, she tells Lan, "Oh, that one's a snake.
That's a snake."
100%.
She's got good instincts about people. So, that Leandrin.
Oh, I just thought of something. We were talking about Logain seeing Nynaeve's power. It's different for men. Men can actually sense the women's power.
I mean, so even if he couldn't sense it, just seeing what she was able to do. I mean, her hair flew out of her braid and was levitating in the air. You can't not see that.
It unraveled everything.
You can't not see that. She brought this dude whose throat was sliced open. She healed him. Yeah. She healed Leandrin. She healed Moraine. Had a damn, like, Moraine just got healed from her Trolloc attack. And now she's got a stake in her stomach. She should be dead. Lan should be dead right now. I don't know. Steppen, I think he got hit with shrapnel. Some of the other people got hit with, everybody got hit. They should be in some kind of pain.
Nynaeve got lucky. It hit the wall next to her and missed her.
Because that one power Nynaeve said, not today, Satan. Not today.
Maybe it's because she's a Ta'veren and she got lucky. Because that's the thing.
Well, okay.
I will. This isn't a spoiler, but one of Logain's talents in the book was being able to spot Ta'veren. He actually has that ability. They're probably not going to do it in the show.
I was going to say, he ain't got it no more because they gentled him.
Yeah, they do. Well, that's not a one power associated talent.
Oh,
you can
really?
be able to sense Ta'veren and that's not related to him, because being a Ta'veren isn't related to the one power.
Okay.
They are separate things.
Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, so
don't think too hard.
No, explain again. So a Ta'veren is what? Because that me not having any book knowledge.
Generally speaking, Ta'veren are people that are spun out of the wheel when things are not right. Like their presence is supposed to make things get back on track.
Now, does that mean that all of them are magical, or is it just something about them that can be sensed? Like you say, he can sense Ta'veren. what is it about them that he can sense? Like, of
They
course,
have
for
they
Nynaeve, she's
actually
got the one power. So
they actually cause the wheel. If you have to conceive the wheel as if you imagine the wheel as the actual wheel, the Ta'veren can bend the spokes. Like their mere presence can cause it to bend, can cause it to shift.
Okay.
And that's not related. They just have that gravity about them. That would be the word I would be able to use.
Okay.
That there's a gravity about them. That they pull people to them. They push people away. They cause weird things to happen around them.
Okay.
They it's like the Scarlet Witch in the book, in the comic book. They can alter probability.
Okay.
With their presence.
Okay, you're speaking my language now. Okay.
they alter probability.
Okay.
Just their presence, and they can feel in the books. They actually can feel the pull of each other sometimes. Well, with Matt Rand and Perrin, they feel it all the time.
Okay, yeah, we talked about that. Okay, yeah. So okay,
it's just that in this version of the story, they've made Nynaeve and Egwene Ta'veren.
Okay.
They are not in the book.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Huh.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, they're not in the book.
So you really weren't lying when you said 75% of what's in this show is not in the book.
The number might be higher. It may be 85, 95, 90%.
Oh, okay. So they just basically took the characters and they made a show about the characters that kind of sort of resemble, but not really.
Yeah. Like I said, they it's almost like they took the concepts and wrote a different story.
Okay.
But trying to get across the same idea. I mean, they're still doing the same things, but it's like a different interpretation.
Okay.
It's really, I wouldn't even call it an adaptation anymore. It's like an interpretation.
It's based on. Okay.
When you're at 85% accuracy and the 15% is just the names and locations, that,
Okay. Or is it the other way around? 15% accuracy? Is that what you meant?
15% accuracy.
Okay.
Is the names and locations.
Okay.
But I mean, most of it's fine. And I can see why a lot of people who are fans of the books don't like it, because I've said this before, because it's totally different. But they're still ending up in the same place.
Okay.
Doing similar things. It's just like the whole cave thing with Logain. No. Logain was a minor. He was a nobleman from Gildan, which we opened up in Gildan with the Gildan king. And the king, when he had started going around saying that he was the dragon, the king actually stripped him of his title and land. But you're not going to get all of that.
Right.
But yeah, he was able to.
It doesn't matter now. The king's dead. So.
The king's dead. So, but yeah, he was able to, rally a lot of people and convince a lot of people. And he was actually getting his army. He was going to get his army together to go to Tyr, because there is a part of the prophecy where the dragon, the person who is the Dragon Reborn, has to go to Tyr and retrieve an artifact.
Okay.
And anyone who has ever made it that far in retrieving an artifact has died. So you just can't go in there and pick it up. You go in there, if you try to get to it, you're gonna die. Even if you can get past the people of Tyr. It's called the Stone of Tyr. And there's a sword involved.
Okay.
Which may sound familiar.
Of course there is. Of course, I mean, there has to be a sword involved. This is fantasy.
Wait. Someone, a prophesized leader, has to go to a place where there's a sword in the stone, and only that person can pull the sword from the stone.
Never heard that before.
So
I think people will like that one.
You're right. Okay.
Wait till you hear the name of the sword. That's going to be fun.
It's Y caliber.
Close. You're really close.
Okay, you have to tell us now. I mean,
no, it's just
no,
called
you might as well at this point.
It's called calendar. It's called calendar, which is, if you say it fast enough, it sounds like Excalibur, but it's calendar.
It's just like Shang-Chi was like, yeah, my name's Sean.
Shang-Chi. Wait. You ran away from home and you disguised yourself by calling yourself Sean. And your name is Shang-Chi. Okay. Yeah, okay.
So
okay.
The reason I'm telling you guys this, and I know this is a spoiler, but they have changed so much of the story that it's really hard to say that something is a spoiler when it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened, and it's not gonna happen, and it just moved on.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. I still enjoy it.
Right.
Okay.
Nynaeve the Great.
But yeah, Logain. It's gonna be Okay. Oh, we were talking about the Ajas. Yeah, it was only greens and reds there.
Okay. There was a yellow Aja there too, I think.
Was it? Okay.
I think there's one. And then, like I said, when I went to IMDb to look at the cast list for this episode, they did have one yellow Aja listed. But I'm like, you have the yellow Aja listed who had like really no scenes, but you don't have Steppen listed. You don't have Alana. I don't know. IMDb is just it's not accurate tonight, but that's okay. But
and it takes a certain number of sisters to gentle a person.
Okay.
So that's why they had to make sure their numbers were up.
Right. And they said, I think Moraine said something about there were 7 there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's one question I have about one of the sisters. So there is an Asian lady with a short, kind of like a pixie bowl cut that if I remember correctly, she had on green for most of the episode. And then at the end, when they were all about to gentle Logain, she had on red. I was really confused.
Did she have on red when they were fighting in the woods too? I think she had on red when they were fighting in the woods too.
I think there's 2 different actresses though.
Oh, okay. Because they both had the same kind of short.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
But there was one shot of Landrin and the other red sisters that was with her, and she was one of them.
Okay.
But that was earlier. So
Okay. I was just confused because I was like, was that the same person? But
I can imagine they would make that big of a mistake, have her switch.
I would hope not. But there have been inconsistencies. There was a Starbucks cup in King's Landing, or actually in Winterfell, so you never know.
You never know.
But so yeah, the sisters, like Karenni is gone, and I actually like Karenni for the little bit that we saw her on screen. But I think the most interesting thing to me was seeing the Ajas with their warders, because Karenni and Steppen were like an old married couple.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had that familiarity with each other. They had that bond. And you could clearly see it. Like, we know Landrin and Moraine have a bond, but to me, looking at them interact and looking at Karenni and Steppen interact, it was totally different. And we talked about it in the last episode. Like, Moraine and Lan's relationship does not seem romantic in that sense, and we got confirmation in this episode definitely that Warder and Aes Sedai, they can encompass all kind of relations with each other, but I don't get that vibe with Moraine and Lan. With Karenni and Steppen, I could see them being like an actual together, because they seem that comfortable with each other. Like I said, they were like an old married couple, finishing each other's sentences. And, of course, we know they have this bond where they can feel what the other person is feeling. But I don't know, theirs just seemed really natural to me. And when I tell you, when she died and he felt it, and the way he was just kind of stumbling around the battle, like, I've got to get to Karenni, I've got to get to Karenni, and him seeing her on the floor and then caress, just kind of cradling her after everything happened. When I tell you, I cried the first time I watched this episode. I cried because I felt it for him.
Yeah, shout out to Stefan doing his best Peter Quill imitation by attacking him and almost getting everybody killed.
Okay, so I'm not the only person who made that comparison in my head when that happened.
100%. I mean, they were over there struggling to keep him together, and he just rushes in and tries to hit him. And by the way, guess his axe is shattered and ends up being responsible for Lan's throat getting cut. What's her name getting stabbed in the gut, and everybody else getting shrapnelled.
But again, just like I say with Peter Quinn, it's that emotional factor. Like, when you have that kind of thing hit you, you're not going to act rationally, and like I said, we saw it in this episode. Stefan and Karenni were like this. So when she died and he walked in and saw her body and figured out what happened, I knew that was going to happen. That he was going to go after him. How could he not? Even though, yes, it did make sense in the grand scheme of things with what they were trying to do. Like, dude, we're trying to contain his power. Don't go chasing after him. But I would be shocked if he did anything else but that. Like that, his pain was raw, and I felt it through the screen. Mm-hmm. But let's see. Where do we want to go next? I think we've talked about the Aja and Logain enough. I guess let's go to our original four, our quartet. Matarand have some issues, or rather, should I say, Matt has some issues.
Matt's oh my God, these problems. Two! It's like they're like having so many, like. They're really problematic right now.
It's like, not even, it's not them. Don't say them. Matt is the one that still got the goddamn blade.
Yeah, this is all still, Matt. Yeah, but it's like they're paired together, and it's like Rand isn't necessarily innocent in a lot of stuff. So I'm giving it. I still don't like Rand. I'm sorry.
This is like I was getting Deathly Hallows feel. Them walking around the woods carrying a Horcrux and yelling and screaming at each other. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, that evil is infecting. But and I do feel bad for Matt, because while he's struggling with this, and of course I think part of it is he doesn't want to tell Rand because he thinks Rand will turn on him. And I really like that part where Rand just told him, I'm here. You know that, right? Like, no matter what happens, I'm here. I'm glad that he told him that, because I feel like Matt needed that reassurance. But at the same time, it's like Matt is going through this alone. He's struggling with this darkness that's trying to overtake him. And we see him go into the barn and throw up, and he starts, kind of losing it a little bit. And the little girl from the house comes and approaches him. And almost like that, you see him switch back into Big Brother Matt, the good guy, the one who cares about his sisters. And I just felt so bad, because, that's really the person he wants to be. Like when she said, when she asked him where his sisters were, and he said, they're safe back home. She said, with your mama and papa. And he was looking kind of like, well, no, they're not safe with them, and that was when it kind of hit you that, at least for me, Matt, as he's been saying for the last 2 episodes, he just wants to go home. He doesn't want doesn't want part of it, any part of this.
And I also think part of it is he can feel that there's something going on with him. Mm-hmm. And at this point, he may think he might be the Dragon Reborn and he's going crazy. Mm-hmm. And he knows what waits for any man that can channel.
Right.
And he can't take care of his sisters if he's dead.
Right. So
or
he's
locked
like,
in the White Tower. That's why he doesn't want to go to Tarvalon.
Yeah. He's just like, y'all can just take this. I'm just gonna go home. But unfortunately,
I want to feel bad for Matt, but I flash back to episode 1 or episode 2. I'm sorry, where Lan told them when they went into the Shadow City to not touch anything. I feel my black dad come back on, where it's like you take your kid to the room, like, don't touch nothing. Don't put your hands in their pockets.
When you tell somebody don't touch this, what is the first thing they're gonna do?
Touch it.
Yeah. But I don't think he could have resisted. I think it called to a part of him. And
I agree.
The way the show's written and how he's been written from the beginning as being emo and having a little bit of darkness in him, it called to him.
Yeah.
And I don't think he could have resisted.
Yeah. I know. I will say this. I've never seen a Gleeman fight like that.
Thom is very special. I just want y'all to know. Thom Merrilin's got some, he's got a lot of history in him.
He's got some skills. I mean, he said as much too. He said nothing is more dangerous than a man who knows the past.
Well, all I'm saying is I know a little bit about, but I haven't gone ahead. If he turns out to be like a long forgotten king, I would not be surprised. Seriously. I mean, I know what happens to certain parts of his life, but if he turns out to be like the one, you know how in Dune they had the Kizar Haderach, and then they had Fenring, who almost was it, but he wasn't. I think this might be what Thom is.
So he's Aragorn.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
But I just like the idea of the Gleeman, though. I like the idea because anytime you get a bard, you get anyone who does music and all that, that's always fascinating because they're always fun to watch. So yeah, I think that there's a lot more to him. We're going to see a lot more. And like I said, if he turns out to be Aragon, then I wouldn't be surprised.
He's more than just a Gleeman. Well, no,
obviously.
Well, let me rephrase that. That's not what I meant. What I meant to say at this present time, he wants nothing more than to be a Gleeman. That's all he wants.
Okay.
He's being drugged into something that if he had his choice, he wouldn't want to be involved.
Well, but that's half the characters on the show.
Well, the thing is, they've changed him so much from the book. Okay. Like I said, he was supposed to be there at the Two Rivers with them, and he is supposed to be already with them, but they've changed it some. Well, they changed it a lot.
Okay.
We would have learned
a reluctant
a lot more.
Hero.
Yeah, we would have learned a lot more about him than we got.
Now, here's my question. Did Matt kill the family or did the Fade?
The Fade killed the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I that's what I thought, but then of course, with Matt struggling with what he's struggling with, and of course, they're saying, they say that it drives them to madness and all this. I didn't know, but when he pointed the knife at the Fade, it's almost like they made sure to show us that the blade was clean.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, he didn't kill them, even though he thinks I'm pretty sure he's probably going to think that he killed them, especially after he saw the little girl, because I don't think he was him until they walked out of that place. Yeah. And when he fell and he saw the little girl, he was just like, what? Like, what happened? Because Matt would not have done that. No. Even possessed, I don't think he would have done that, at least not to the little girl.
But he was drawn to the death.
Okay.
In the house. That's what drew him there.
Okay. And then the way he held up that knife, he was like, I see you. I was like, oh, that's creepy.
It was.
It was really creepy.
I was like, this is turning into a horror movie real quick.
Right. But and Matt and Rand are on the run again because
without Thom again.
But he
left him battling that Fade by himself.
Well, he kind of told them to go because okay, what would have
And
happened
he
if
closed the door. He like closed the door
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah, he was like, get the fuck out. Like the fate is coming for them. So what would happen if the fate gets them? Would the fate take them alive to wherever the dark one is? Or okay. And then
the Dark One's goal is to capture them. He doesn't want to kill them. He wants the Dragon Reborn on his side to help him.
Okay. Those two. They just and I was thinking about it where you were saying earlier about Ta'Veren, being lucky, or that's one of the traits. Obviously not. Because these two have some of the worst luck in the world.
It depends
or maybe
it depends on your perspective. I mean, they're being exactly in the places they need to be or are supposed to be. You may not think that, but
I was gonna say the family who owns the barn might disagree. But
I mean, everything that's happening is slowing everybody down. Like they could have all been in Tarvalon by now.
Okay.
There's a reason that they're not all getting there at different times or at a certain time.
Okay. I'll take that.
There's a method to the madness.
Right. Okay. So
or at least that's how I look at it.
Right. Okay. But so now going to the other two, going to Pippin and Egwene, they seem to be having a marvelous time. Like they're dancing, they're getting good, nice meals, they're making friends. Perrin still seems haunted, but there's something else I noticed in this episode, and tell me if I'm imagining it, but does it seem like Perrin has more than just friendly or brotherly feelings towards Egwene? Are we looking at me like that?
I kind of thought so too.
Okay.
Even back when they made the fire and they were huddled together, it's like around that time I was kind of like, he's probably thinking it, but he's still in mourning, first of all, for his wife dying and him having accidentally killed her on top of that.
Right.
So he's really still trying to come to terms with that. But I mean, there's definitely some kind of feelings there. Like,
and I think at least also on his too, it feels like he's hiding that also to honor his friendship, not just with her, but with Rand as well, because that's technically speaking, that's still kind of Rand's girl, But yeah, I felt like, okay, he's protective of her, but it's just the way that he was kind of watching her while she was dancing and just having fun and talking to what's his name, Aram, and it wasn't the kind of he's watching her like it's a creepy thing. It was one of those like it was kind of wistful, and I think part of it I felt like was the fact that okay, she's not worried, she's happy, or she's kind of sort of happy at this moment. She's just kind of enjoying herself, which is something none of them have been able to do since they left home. So I felt like he was a little bit wistful about that, like, oh, at least she's able to relax and have a good time. But he's, like I said, he's still holding on to his feelings and his guilt and everything. But at the same time, I kind of looked at him, I was like, I feel like, yeah, Egwene's got some, she has her pick of the litter right now. So she's got Rand, she's got Aram, she's got Perrin, because Aram is clearly besotted with her up until she's looking at the stars, and he was like, who is he? Like, yeah, she's just sitting there looking at the stars. She ain't paying you no attention. Yeah, there's another dude there. Yeah,
because Aram knows I'm a hot dude, and she ain't glancing at me once, twice, none. And I'm giving her my best stuff.
Exactly.
Like
I'm giving her my
he's like, damn it,
I got pretty eyes.
Look at me. I'm me. How are you not attracted to me? You know who I am?
And he dropping lines left and right, and she ain't biting on none of them. He's saying like this
No.
dude Perrin don't know what he got. Well, dang. Well, maybe Perrin.
The fishing hole is dry.
Right.
There are no fish left. You ain't catching shit.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and
bro.
even that scene where they were sitting there looking at the stars and they were talking, they were like unusually close. And usually in TV shows, when people are that close, they look at each other and they realize, oh wait, I think I want to kiss you, and they go in for the kiss. And that didn't happen in the scene. And I was like, oh, okay. So y'all didn't go for that little, obvious.
I'm sure Aaron was disappointed in that too.
Oh, of course he was, but but he was respectful of it, because as soon as she, when he asked her, he said, so have you lost them? And she was like, no, I would have known. And he was just like, okay, moving on, and just started having a conversation with her. Like, okay. He, I will say this. I like his character in the show because he's just happy all the fucking time. Like everybody else has all of this weight they're dragging and despair and this, that, and other. And he's just cracking jokes and he's just happy. And it's just okay. And I think too, it's interesting that his character is that way, given what they've gone through as a family, because we hear his grandmother tell the tale about what happened to her daughter, being attacked in the woods by raiders and just killed for sport. And she says that Aaron was so young, he doesn't even remember her. And I'm just like, that would make anybody else depressed, but he is just like this happy-go-lucky guy, and just like, I don't know, the way of the leaf is working for him. I mean,
is it?
Well, I mean,
you didn't get that kiss. I mean, I'm just saying.
But you know what? There's
the way of the leaf is working for them, as best it could,
Mm-hmm. But I like that little group. They just kind of travel the countryside and they pick up strays, and they're nice and they're charitable, and they, as we saw in this episode, they have histories. One of the ladies that Perrin, commented about, Isla was like, yeah, she used to be a hired killer. Perrin turned around and looked like, what? Like, what? And then, she goes into the story about the way of the leaf, and how when her daughter was killed, she said, I wanted to, it took everything in me not to grab the spear out of her chest and go hunting them down. And I love what she says after that. It's very idealistic, but I think is a nice sentiment still. Perrin says, well, why didn't you? And she said, because I only wanted revenge. And he was like, yeah, and she said, what did she say? What better revenge for violence than peace? What better revenge for death than life?
This is basically a nomadic hippie commune. Like, they're just going from city to city, like just being happy and spreading peace as much as well as they can, and talking about the song and all this other stuff. Like, it's just like they're basically the song.
Yeah,
just for my sanity, don't talk about the song.
Okay, because I was about to ask.
Just like Bruno, we don't talk about the
don't talk about the song.
No,
just for my sanity.
Let's put it this way.
We don't talk about the song.
They remind me of the Partridge Family. With the little bus and the little birds. Remember that? Or am I quoting a too old of a reference here?
No,
I'm gonna.
we're
say something.
I'm older than
so we
you
get
are.
that reference.
This is true.
I'm gonna say something. It's not a spoiler, but I just want to tell you guys, when y'all find out about the Tuatha'an, I'm gonna be so excited for you.
Oh,
because there is such an important part that they play in this story. Hopefully the show goes on long enough, but when all the connections are made, you guys are gonna be like, oh my fucking god.
So they're either
it has nothing to do with the song.
Okay, so they're the first people, meaning like the first ones that appeared after the wheel emerges. They're elves, or they're elves.
Or they're elves.
There are no elves in the Wheel of Time.
We're gonna have to get Anthony a new T-shirt. He's got the one that says "No theories." Now we got to get him one that says "This is not a spoiler," but
yes, exactly.
This is not a spoiler, but I'm telling you, this show makes it very easy because, like I said, 85% of this is made up.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
But no, it's not a spoiler. They're important. I mean, there are some characters who are not. Aram is going to be one of your favorite characters.
His story arc, one of my favorites.
His story arc in the book is very good.
Okay.
It's very good.
Okay. I like him. He's so happy. How can you not like him?
Well, there's a reason for that, so I don't know yet, but I'm just saying whenever someone is that happy, there's something really, really wrong with them. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that's the case.
Well,
he could, I mean, he really could be one of those people who's like, look, everything else in this life is shitty enough. I'm not about to let it affect me that way. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to find
you know how he is
everything.
In the show. That's how Matt is supposed to be.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Happy go lucky.
Yeah, Matt doesn't have any problems. I mean, Matt, from what I've read, is just the nicest guy. He the only thing I got from the book and a half that I've read is that his physical size occasionally in the past made him feel uncomfortable because he's so big and he has to remember to make himself small around other people.
Wait, Matt?
Not Matt, Perrin. I'm thinking Perrin.
She's talking about Perrin.
Sorry, I'm talking about Perrin.
Okay.
Matt in the book is different because Matt is basically a rascal, you know. Yeah. And the thing with the dagger, as soon as I knew he had it, I was like, oh, they're gonna go that route. I just saw Smeagol, just the whole thing,
I thought Smeagol when I first watched these episodes with him with the blade. I was like, that's his precious.
Yep, pretty much.
And I guess that would have been too much of a drastic change to have him go from Aram, happy-go-lucky,
right,
everything's great, to
to
murderous
Matt.
rampage.
Yeah, because it would have been obvious then that something is wrong. Like at this point, like Rand senses something is wrong, but he can't really put his finger on it. But he just knows that something is wrong with Matt. And I think maybe he's thinking, Matt is kind of sad about not being at home and, they're separated from Perrin and Egwene. So maybe Rand is just thinking that he's just internalizing that. But
no, I think Rand and Thom's conversation pretty much confirms that Rand thinks that Matt is a channeler and is going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why he's concerned.
I think it's one of those things too, where it's like he hasn't really seen Matt do anything about it. But I mean, I don't know, because I think we discussed last episode that Matt has probably been channeling, especially when he opened that door that was supposed to be impossible for him. Rand, yes. Especially when he opened that door that he was not supposed to open. But Rand is not showing any signs of madness yet. So either that means that he's not a channeler, or maybe he's Dragon Reborn, which I know you've already said that it's pretty obvious that it's him, but I don't know. I think they're purposefully trying to throw us in different directions, but still it's kind of like, if you think about it, like Matt is kind of gone at this point. And I don't know if that's because of the blade. Like if he gets rid of the blade, will that change the way he's acting? Like, will he be more himself, or was the blade just an accelerant for the madness that he was going to get anyway, being a channeler?
I will say this. Look at the 2 male channelers that we've seen, 2 confirmed male channelers that we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
What did they both have in common?
Hold on. Okay, we got Logain, and
remember we've talked about this before, that writers tend to show you things earlier to prepare you for things later.
Right.
So what did that first guy that Leandrin and her sisters, Moraine saw them capture, what did he have in common with Logain?
They were both white.
Besides that,
I'm sorry.
We both know that. I know we know they're both channelers. We both know that they were going mad. What was the manifestation of their badness?
Seeing other people.
Right.
Or Rand's fake.
Huh?
Rand's fake. I have a theory. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
So we have an indication of what the madness looks like. We haven't had any of our males show that trait yet.
Or have we?
Look, was Thom a was he a manifestation of?
Is Thom real?
Yeah, is he real?
Oh,
yeah.
don't go there.
We're just
Come on.
Wait. I'm with this. Let's okay. Let's
no,
with that.
no. Let's not do that.
I'm with this. Let's take this a little further. Yeah. So
I don't think an imaginary friend could fight off a fade the way that he did.
If you can channel.
Maybe he fought it off. He really fought it off, and in his mind, Thom fought it off, and they escaped. But maybe he fought him off enough so that they could get away.
No,
and then he came back to himself and saw the little girl dead, and it's like I only say that. I'm starting to get back. See, we're getting back into getting back towards Marvel. So I got to get into my theory game back again.
No.
So if Matt was going to go crazy. Then if he was in the process of going crazy, he would be talking to people that's not there.
Right. Okay.
Right. And if Rand was going crazy, he would.
He might be talking to that blade, my precious.
or maybe one of them didn't make it out of the city.
What?
Nah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think so. Because
I'm starting to formulate that.
Because even thinking about that, what was her name? Dara, the barmaid. She would have disproven all of that because she had Rand trapped, and then Matt was with what's his name, Thom. And then they came together, and then she confronted both of them. So yeah, that theory's dead in the water. Mike, just go ahead. I mean,
we saw that she
was
crazy.
40 out over it. It's dead. It's done.
Maybe she's crazy enough where he was talking like two different people, and she just
we're moving on. No,
but my point being,
that's a good point though.
It's not.
There's a way to tell. There's a way to tell when it starts to happen.
We've got some indicators.
Okay. So right now, poor Matt's he's just going mad.
Now he's possessed by some unknown evil. Well, it's a known evil, but
unknown to him. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Let's say that unknown to him.
He saw it. He just didn't know it's inside of him.
Right. Because when that stuff started creeping up after he threw up, and then was it moving on his mouth, on his face too?
It went back into his mouth.
That looked gross.
That was disgusting.
That was gross.
Shout out to the effects people.
It was like bubbling and
yeah. Stuff. The effects in this whole episode were top notch. Like from what was from Lorraine, the whole thing with Lorraine, like his magic coming and whispering in his ear, like
Logain, yeah.
It's like from that to Nynaeve's powers to like the whole thing. It's like these effects are top notch, like really good.
And the costumes are amazing. The Tuatha'an, all the colors and all that stuff.
So, I was thinking, I was like, okay, so we already talked about we were going to try to go to Dragon Con as Grisha. Now I'm looking at these costumes on Wheel of Time, but I was like, that's going to be too elaborate, especially one of the costumes from next week. Is it next? I think next week's episode, or Maybe the episode, no, I think it's the episode after that. There is a costume that showed up in that, and I was just like, I want to do it, but no. Dragon Con in September.
So you could be like a green
layers.
You want to be green Aja, blue Aja, and Mike and I could be your warders.
We can do that. We can do that. That would be fun.
I mean,
that would be awesome.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Look, it's early enough. We got to start planning.
I still want to be a Grisha though.
We can
do both.
Con is 5 days.
I'm saying
do you know how many people bring costumes for multiple changes each
in a day? No, in a day they would.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You have some people who do 5 cosplay changes in a day. I'm not about to go. I'm telling y'all now, I'm not about to go there. But yeah, we could do Grisha, and then we could do, Aja and Warder, and yeah, we could do that. That would be fun. Okay, cosplay idea. We got to start thinking about it. Speaking of the Ajas, let me say this. I think it was the green Asian woman I was telling y'all about that I think had the bowl cut. So when they're fighting in the forest and they're using their powers, of course, Alana, she builds up these walls. One of the Aja, she starts striking the ground like she's shooting a machine gun. That shit was awesome.
Yeah, I
was like, I want that power.
Like they were blowing them up left and right. Like that shit was crazy.
They were. And then, I think there was one red Asha that got stabbed and she fell to the ground. And I was like, oh, they just lost somebody. Nope, because here comes
she got riddled with
she got riddled with arrows. Like 2-3 arrows.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay, yeah. But she got healed because she's got sisters around her. I was like, oh, this is so not a fair fight.
And poor Nynaeve, and Nynaeve was shell shocked. Like she couldn't do anything. Like she stabbed one guy, and then she was like had her back against the tree and was looking left and right. Like what the fuck?
I mean, think about it. PTSD. She just went through this a few weeks ago in her own village.
Yeah.
Remember? And she got dragged off in that one. So yeah, I would have been shell shocked. But I love the way Lan just kept. He was like, okay, come on, let's go, grab her hand.
There were a couple of lines that let you know that this was not going to go the way for the army. The first line was earlier when Moraine was talking to Karen and Karenie, and she said that, why are you scared? You have held back armies by yourself. That's number one. And then later when Landrin is like, oh, there's no way they're going to be able to go against 7 full sisters.
Right.
It's just 7 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Aes Sedai
and the Warders were holding off too. Now the Warders were fighting.
Their job is just to protect them while they do their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what they do.
They were doing a pretty damn good job of it. But there's one other part I do want to talk about with this episode, and that's the scene with Lan and Nynaeve.
I knew you were gonna say that.
That it was such a beautiful scene, and it's like you get to see two scenes where it's just them. And the first one is after she's having her conversation with Liandrin, and Lan comes over and talks to her a little bit, and there's still I don't know if I want to say she's still kind of I don't know. She's not really holding him at arm's length, but you can tell that this attraction is there and she's fighting it. And then, she sees him praying and he tells her what he's praying about. And then she prays herself and she tells him about, she speaks a phrase in the old tongue and she doesn't know what it means. She just knows that it means, it was something that her parents said to her. She said before they locked her in the cellar to go I guess fight or try to lure whoever was attacking their village away from her. So it was the last thing her parents ever said to her before she never saw them again. And when he translated it for her, it pretty much said I was gonna say it sounded similar to what Isla was saying about her daughter and why she follows the way of the leaf. She said that Perrin was telling her that her philosophy of peace Like, that's not something you're ever going to see in your lifetime, and not even your grandchildren's lifetimes. And she's like, I'm not doing it for them. She said, I'm doing it because the wheel of time will one day spit my daughter's soul out. And I want this world to be better for her so that she can live the life then that she was supposed to live now with me. And I think when Lan translated the phrase that Nynaeve said, it was something similar. I didn't write down what it said, but it was basically like the parents protected the child so that something about
it was the last thing. It was the last thing that King Aemon said to his wife before he went off at the Battle of Manetheren.
But it was something about we protect our children now so that they can live later, or something to that effect. But it's
kind of about sacrifice, kind of, yeah.
And it tied in with you know, what Nynaeve's parents did, and you could see her get really emotional there. And you know, she tries to play it off, and she's like, you're not anything like I thought you were. And then he says the same thing, but before, you know, when she says in what way, before he can say it, they're getting attacked. So I was like, yeah, they're totally going to get together. Totally.
We shall go into the land so our children can always hold us and will never be alone.
Okay. So yeah, I think he broke her down with that one. That was that last little piece of wall she was holding up, just crumbling down. And she was like, okay, I guess he's okay. And then, of course, you know, like I said, he watched over her during the battle. And then when they went into the cave, he got hurt. It's like she sees everybody else hurt, but who does she go to? She sees Lan, and that's the one she makes a beeline for him. And she tries to staunch the bleeding. Of course, like his neck is just shooting out blood at this point. And he's dying, and she was just like, nope, absolutely not. And the hair starts flying, and I was just like, and you can see it in the light. You know, they actually had her hair levitating in the light, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
But before that, you saw what Logain did to that cage. Like, he literally disintegrated it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he's not powerful. He was powerful. But when Moraine had that conversation with him, the way she was breaking it down to him, she was like, your power, it ain't nothing compared to what's out there. And then when Nynaeve set it off, he was like, like the raging sun. And then, of course, you know, that distracted him enough for them to capture him and gentle him. And I think at that point, all of them coming in, seeing what he did to Nynaeve, they were like, you know what? No, you're done. You're done.
I hope the show is going to be different, or treat Logain differently than they do in the books, because what she says kind of bothers me, because it's not true for him. You know, when she's like, you know, your power is gonna, you know, pale in comparison to the power of the Dragon Reborn. It's not true.
So let me ask you a question, because they gentled him in this episode. Does that mean he's getting his power back?
And
you
so
might as well go ahead and answer the question.
And so when you I didn't care for that line too much at all.
Okay.
Oh, shout out to
Elena. Why did you have to ask that question? Why did you have to ask it?
Inquiring minds want to know.
I didn't bring it up. She brought it up.
No, it wasn't me.
Yeah, good job, Lori.
It wasn't Lori.
Shout out to Elena.
Yes, he does get his freaking power back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shout out to Elena doing her best Magneto impression from X-Men First Class with those arrows.
That was awesome.
This is the thing I don't understand.
Or it could have been Neo from the Matrix too. Like, just like, stop.
I don't understand. I'm glad you said the Matrix 2 and not Matrix Resurrection. But I don't understand. I know, I'm sorry. I don't understand. So everybody knows about the Aes Sedai. You know that the Aes Sedai are powerful. Why would you be stupid enough to shoot arrows into a camp full of magical women?
First of all, it's been a while since the Aes Sedai have done something like this, like an army go up against Aes Sedai. It's been a minute.
Okay.
It's usually little skirmishes, not like a whole army.
Mm-hmm.
So all they have are stories, and most of them don't believe the stories, and they don't trust Aes Sedai. They think they're all lies anyway. So it's easy for them to be like, yeah, whatever. It's not true.
But you're following a guy who claims to be the Dragon Reborn.
Well,
with the same magic powers.
Logain is very charismatic.
Okay.
Very, very charismatic. And if he was indeed the Dragon Reborn, then the current Aes Sedai would not be able to stand against him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they got lucky. What did Leandrin say? We did what you blues did. We snuck into his camp while he was asleep and shielded him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could have done that shit if he was awake.
Which was proven when he just dusted him off when he woke up. Like,
right.
And just threw Leandrin and Karenni into the wall, knocked them out.
Because when he woke up, he was already in the cage being carted off somewhere. He's like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, I guess I'll just wait till my army finds me.
Okay. Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's cool. I can use a nap. Yeah, I'll wake up in a minute. Y'all just wake me up when my army gets here.
Right. Okay.
Also, shout out to Steppen and same Yvonne for being one of the coolest gay couples I've ever seen in my life. I was like, oh,
that wasn't Steppen. That was somebody else. What was his name?
Was it Maxim? Maxim.
Yes.
Maxim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maxim. I was like, oh, look at them. They're just all out and about. I was like,
but
who's gonna check them? I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, okay.
But that's what I was talking about earlier, where it's like, nowadays, you would have seen, if it was here, okay, you would have seen so many entertainment news articles. Wheel of Time has gay couple, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And again, with this show, it's just not a big deal. And I love that it's just not a big deal. It's like a part of the landscape. It's a part of, just like them having a Black Aes Sedai or Asian Aes Sedai or it's whatever.
And they took it a step further. It made them poly. It's like, wait a second.
Right.
They went even further.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we all retiring for the night. Oh wait, what? Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
Right. Like once one couple starts going, everybody, Nynaeve was looking like, oh, so everybody about to go get busy. And then when Lan said, by the way, I guess I'm tired too. I was like, oh, because I think that was the moment that she realized how attracted she was to him or how she felt about him, because he got up to go and you could see her face kind of change, like, wait, if everybody else is getting up to go get busy, that means that he
hold up.
Oh, and Steppen was sitting next to her. He just drank his tea and chuckled like, oh, okay. Right. But,
like,
that's okay. Now, okay, I have this question to ask. Now that we know that Nynaeve has the one power and she's actually very powerful or whatever, I'm sure at some point somebody's going to suggest to her that she has to go maybe try to be an Aes Sedai, or they're going to try to get her to be an Aes Sedai. When it comes to warders, do they change Aes Sedai?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay. Because I'm sorry, they got to get together. They got to get together. It's kind of they have to get together. Even in the little scenes that they interact in, I feel the chemistry between them. I feel the tension between them. It's got to happen. Because what I feel with those two, I don't feel that with him and Moraine. So it's just kind of like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I can be your warder on the side, but I'm gonna go over here and whatever. but I don't know how that works. I don't know how those relationships work. Like, can warders have families? Can they have other people outside of their Aes Sedai? I don't know how I don't know the logistics of their relationships in this story, or that it could change from the way they portray those things in the book. They might change it for the show. So I'm not going to ask you to spoil anything else or to answer any other questions, Anthony. I think I've hit my limit for today, so I'm gonna leave you alone.
You've hit your limit for the next 2 shows.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Don't make me pull executive rank. You're gonna answer all my questions, damn it. No.
Help me.
Lori's been awfully quiet.
Yes, because I wanted to listen, because I've watched this episode like 8 times. So I
really you liked it that much?
I like the ending. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, when they go all airbender, I was like, oh, I'm in. But that's basically.
You saw some earth bending, some air bending. You didn't get any fire or water. I thought we were going to get some fire bending with the elevated fire pits next to the cave.
She did blood bending. Okay, that was blood bending.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
At the end, that was blood bending.
Bend his blood right back into his body. That's awesome.
But my thing is that I was quiet tonight because I wanted to sort of see where you guys are at, because I liked this episode very much. 1 through 3, I've tried to watch episode 5 3-4 times, and I cannot. Even though I read the first book, a character shows up which I want to love, and I just can't get past the first 10 minutes. So I kind of want to hear where you guys are at on that.
Wait a minute. Now I gotta think. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is episode 5 the episode with, and I'm gonna say it like this and just leave y'all to wonder, is episode 5 the one with like the most driest kiss ever? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I get what you're saying. So especially after everything that happened in this episode, it is a little bit slower. There are parts of it that I think are a little more emotional, but yeah. I get what you're saying, but yeah, this episode was just, episodes 1 through 3 were good to me, enough to keep me interested and trying to see where the story is going to go. Because again, my old mentor has been trying to get me to read this series forever. And I just, like I said, I haven't had time to really read recreationally like that. So I just never got around to it. And then now they came out with the show. I was like, okay, I might as well watch the show first and then read the books, because if I read the books and then the show doesn't follow, then I'm going to get irritated and I don't want to do that. So, but this episode, especially the last part of it, yeah, it totally made it, because when all of that stuff started happening, I'm like, oh, okay, so we get to see the Aes Sedai like really fight, and you get to see the other warders fight, and you get to see Lan fight. Okay, this is cool. And then you see all the stuff that happens with Logain and his power, and then you see the sisters come in, and then Nynaeve it was just kind of like, whoa. I literally just sat there like, wow. But again, isn't the other thing I like about the show, I love it that the women are so powerful. Love it. And then Logain says this little line to, was it Leandrin, or he said it to Moraine, talking about his power and how, they should want to follow me. No, we have had enough of women following powerful men forever. No. Sit your ass down and let these women take over.
That would be totally out of character for this series anyway, because the women are the most powerful ones anyway. So like, see a man fall, like, why? Like, that's stupid, because you're changing the whole dynamic of the series. Like, because the women are the most powerful beings in this world, so they might as well continue to be.
Yeah, powerful enough that they can take the men's power away from them and leave them quivering masses and, feeling like they have nothing left. And Nope. Yeah.
My powers.
Let the women stay in charge. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Gentling has this wonderful effect where you can sense the one power. It's almost, it's like you have control over it and then it's gone, but you can still sense it, like it's there, just out of your reach. And that's what
like I'm sitting here pointing my finger at y'all on the thing, and y'all are just out of my reach. Like I can't touch you, but it's there.
But you know we're there, and that's why they shielding. They did shielding a little different. Shielding is supposed to, you can't sense the power at all or use it.
Okay.
It's been a while. I haven't gotten to the books yet where they start shielding people, but from what I remember, in the book, if you have been shielded, you can't use the one power. You don't feel it, you don't sense it, you don't know anything.
Oh, wow.
You're
okay.
just cut off from it. The gentling, you can still see it there, and you live the rest of your days where it's right there and you can't touch it and you miss it. Because
so
it's
technically
like
speaking, shielding has a bigger effect on a person than the gentling.
Well, the shielding can be removed. The shielding is temporary.
Oh, okay.
Gentling or stealing, which is what they also call it, is you can't access it anymore.
Okay, when you said shielding and when you said once they've been shielded, I thought you meant that once they've had that done to them, then they can't feel. Okay.
The shielding is ongoing shielding to prevent you from using the one power.
Okay.
So technically, well, not technically, but as far as the book goes, all the stuff that he was doing at the end, he wouldn't be able to do.
Okay.
Because he wouldn't even be able to sense the one power.
Okay. All right. So then, yeah, that's a lot of changes. A lot.
That was a major change.
Lots.
Yeah.
Okay.
But their description of gentling is accurate.
Okay.
That's what causes them to people to lose it and kill themselves or just waste away, is that they miss it. They can see it, they can feel it, but they can't use it, they can't touch it.
That sucks.
Yeah. It's gonna suck for Logain.
Well, okay.
He deserves it. He had
it
coming.
He didn't do anything.
Do we know that he deserves it? Like, okay, yes.
It.
Like the stuff that he did towards the end, what happened with Karenni and all that stuff. Okay, yeah. But before, like,
that was self-defense though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But like before, like what do we know about his character except for what we saw at the beginning of this episode? And he could have killed the king outright, but he didn't. And he sat there and talked to the king, and he told the king, he was like, basically what everybody else has been saying, the last dragon broke the world, but I'm not going to do that. What did he say? I'm here to bind it.
Yeah,
I'm here
he was going to fulfill the prophecy. He was getting an army together. He had gathered, well, they're not going to tell you, but he actually, half of Gelden, which is where he was from, he got that army and the king, and then there was like another country, and he was on his way to Tyr, and he would have taken Tyr if he was the Dragon Reborn, and he would have added them to his army. So he was literally getting an army together for the last battle. So he wasn't, his only crime was that he was a man who could channel.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe he didn't deserve all of that, but Leandrin had her way, and I just want to know, is there going to be some consequences to her actually doing, going against what the Armelin seat said?
Who? Leandrin?
Because she, like Mike said, I do feel like she kind of manipulated that whole thing. Like, and then after, Karenni dies and he attacks them, she's like, oh, okay, y'all, give me your power, because he just gave us our explanation right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, what
but
she
like you
did
said,
was legit, but I mean, you can even, I wouldn't be surprised if someone would argue that she manipulated the situation to the point where maybe she weakened her shield just enough so he would kill somebody.
well, yeah, I don't
No,
I don't know if
I would
her
put her ego.
Not enough to kill, but enough
to
that he
kill.
can get free.
Right, but enough to
free
make it
himself.
seem like he's a threat and we need to take care of this. I don't think I don't know. Do I think that she would purposefully kill one of her sisters?
Well, okay, I'll back up. Maybe she wouldn't have wanted him to kill anyone, but she definitely would have wanted him to get free.
Okay.
Because if he had freed himself, that would have given her enough
justification
to do it right then and not have to wait for a trial.
Right.
And she makes a good point. She's like, do you feel how powerful he is? We're not going to be able to make it to Tarvalon, with
we have several hundred miles to go.
Right. Taking shifts trying to shield him. That's going to be a problem.
Right. And then they were going to have to be, even if they did travel to Tarvalon with him, two of them are going to be constantly trying to shield him. What happens if they're attacked on the road? They could have easily been attacked on the road, just like they were attacked at camp. And then what then? If you start seeing all this stuff happening, do you still keep up your shield? Because if the people around you start falling, eventually you're going to fall, or you're going to let him go so you can fight. And, so I don't know.
First of all, you have to understand the ego of the Aes Sedai. There's nobody.
I'm getting
There's nobody that is going to attack that caravan and be able to be like, we took out a few eyes. No, it doesn't work like that with them.
Yeah.
No one would be bold enough to attack an Aes Sedai caravan unless you are an Aes Sedai. Like, no one would do that.
I don't know. That white cloak might give me some pause.
Yeah,
okay. First of all, about that. I'm not going to give anything away, but the white cloaks don't want none of that heat.
Okay.
They don't. If it's one Aes Sedai, okay. He's got 7 or 8 of them on his 7 or 8 of those rings, but trust me.
I'm wondering, how did he go about capturing them? Like, I have questions. Well,
there are a lot of white cloaks, and you throw enough fodder at them, and all you gotta do is take out the warder. And once you take the warders out, if they have one, the Aes Sedai, she's gonna get tired. You just keep throwing people at her until you get your moment.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think I said this before, even though they didn't talk about it, but Valda is a blade master, and there's very few of them, and nobody wants to try to take them one-on-one unless you want to become one.
Okay.
So there's that. But yeah, even the white cloaks, they are around Tarvalon, and that they want to kill Aes Sedai, but they would never try to attack an Aes Sedai group of Aes Sedai. That would be very bad for them.
Okay.
And they know it.
And the other thing is, after they gentled Logain and, all of them kind of started standing down, did you see the expressions on everybody else's face? They were like, what the fuck did we just do? Like, we just did the one thing we were not supposed to do, because they were supposed to take him back to Tarvalon for trial. They were instructed to. And it's like, in the heat of the moment, they gave Liandrin their power so that she could do that, because she was about to burn herself to a crisp. Did you see her face start glowing?
Yeah.
So I understand they did that to give their sister their strength and to keep him from killing them again or attacking them again. But as everybody's hands started coming down, their faces were like, what the fuck did we just do? I was like, oh, y'all might be in some trouble. Ooh. Okay. Did we skip over anything? I think we got it.
I think we covered everything. Yeah.
Okay.
They have to form a circle to perform a gentling or stealing. So that's why she asked them to join with her.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why she asked them to do that, so she could do it, or they could do it together.
Yeah, they did it. And like I said, afterwards they were all like, we weren't supposed to do that.
Funny story, as that scene was happening, because I was watching it again tonight, Bailey walked into the room and she's like, "Are you watching Eternals? Isn't that the Eternals?" I was like, "You're funny."
That's funny.
I was like, "You're funny." She's like, "No," because she's never seen the Eternals, but she knows what happens. So she's like,
and think about it, the colorful okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at Bailey paying attention. Look at her. Okay.
Because I think she saw the scene with the Unimind, and so she was making that connection.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right. Any last thoughts on this episode?
I can't wait to hear what this song is. Like, I mean, damn it, sing the damn song.
We're not doing it. On that note,
I want the song.
No song. Anthony,
but for real, I'm really interested to see how the nomadic hippies factor into all this, because you can tell there's more than meets the eye to them. Like they're like there's something, like if they're really pushed into a corner, no matter how much they say. This is kind of the thing. It's kind of a trope in certain stories where it's like, no matter how much someone says, "I'm not going to fight you. I don't want to fight." If you push somebody far enough, or you hit the right button, they're going to defend themselves.
Yeah, those wagons hide big howitzers and 50 cows.
Hell yeah. Let's shoot them up. So bang, bang.
I will say this too, as far as the Tinkers, Isla, Miss Maria Doyle Kennedy. Anytime she has to do a scene like that where she's talking about like the loss of a child or something like, something of that sad nature, like she did in this episode, she did a similar, she had a similar incident happen to her last season in Outlander. So she talked about that. I'm thinking that, and then of course, as Queen Catherine in The Tudors, she was just like so self-suffering in that show. She plays those scenes amazingly. But I really want them to stop giving her these sad scenes. Stop giving her the sad stories. Give her something happy. That's all I'm gonna say. But Laura, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. You can listen to us on YouTube, or you can watch us on YouTube and listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.